John only has that medium, that allegorical medium, to show you, to drive home these truths. And he's drawing on his Old Testament imagery. She's clothed with the sun, and the sun has always been a figure of the glory of God. So she's clothed with the glory of God and of her Son. Think of Jesus revealed as he truly is briefly at the Transfiguration. That kind of glory, that kind of resplendence. Isaiah 60 verse 1 says, the light, or the sun of Jerusalem, is her Lord. So this woman is surrounded by God's light. And so the sun here represents God's strength, while the moon instead represents the lesser efforts of humanity. Why? Because the moon reflects the light of the sun, right? Also, if you remember from our study of Genesis, the cult of the moon god of the Chaldeans and of the Arameans that was so prevalent in Abraham's day. And also the way she's clothed, the woman echoes the vestments of the high priest. And the vestments of the high priest, with all the stones, remember the ephod and all the stones and the thing on his head and the mitre, everything had a symbolic meaning. And the meaning was that the microcosm of the world was supposed to be represented in all the things that the high priest wore. So that the tunic represented nature and the earth, the upper garment, nature, the girdle, the ocean, a blue color that they were clothed with. And how is Mary usually represented? In blue represents heaven. And the two precious stones that were in the garments of the high priest, the sun and the moon. And similarly, her crown echoes the headdress crown of the high priest. So you see there a certain similarity. And she's clothed with the sun, and she's crowned with stars. With stars. Now she is a queen, therefore, isn't she? She's crowned here as Queen of Heaven. And if you pray the Rosary, the fifth glorious mystery of the Rosary is what? The crowning, the coronation of the Blessed Virgin in heaven. As such, she is the Queen Mother, and she intercedes for her people. Now, just a brief history lesson. In Israel and in other kingdoms in the ancient Far East, the queen was always the mother of the king, not the wife. Any ideas why? The king had 200 wives and 500 porcupines. It'd be kind of hard to figure out who's going to be the queen, right? Why? So the king's mother would be the Gebirah, the great lady, the queen mother. And we have an example of that with Solomon when his mother Bathsheba, as soon as he's crowned, she's honored, and she's brought ahead to sit by her son, to advise them. And so her role would be what? The role of the Queen Mother in Israel was to be an intercessor, to represent the people for her son. You could kind of snag the Queen Mother and say, hey, by the way, I kind of need, and she'd go. It's that kind of idea. She'd be a mediatrix, an intercessor for her son. And so you see John very readily, and all the apostles and all tradition and most everything we can read that the church proposes for our examination presents the Blessed Virgin along those lines. She is the Queen Mother. She intercedes for the people. She's crowned with 12 stars representing the 12 tribes and also the 12 apostles, uniting the Old and the New Covenants. Other